Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm fine. How
Good
about you?
afternoon. Good, good. So I would like to know your name.
My name is Tribleen Kaur Mandla.
Okay, and where do you come from?
I come from a small town in district Hoshiarpur known as Mukeria.
Okay, and may I know your hobbies?
Yes, I have a plethora of hobbies since I've always taken part in extracurricular activities. And I think one of the things that tops my list is swimming because I was a district level player till 8th standard. So it's definitely something that I really enjoy.
That's really wonderful to know. So, do you think that hobbies are important for everyone?
Yes, I
Why
would
and
say
why
that.
not?
Okay, yes, definitely I agree with the statement because I think it helps a person bluster and become a better person because it also helps us regenerate our mind and to actually do something that we enjoy other than the work or monotonous routine that we are caught up in on a daily basis.
Okay. So, what hobbies do you enjoy during your free time apart from, maybe swimming? What are the other things?
I think reading books. I was like 12 years old when I first picked up reading, and the first book that I ever read was Who Will Cry When You Die, which I feel like is quite an intense book for a person who is nearly 12 years old. But I think that's something that helped me pick up the habit of reading, and I've doing it ever since. So I think it's definitely something that I would like to mention over here.
Okay. So, how have your hobbies changed since you were a child?
Well, I think that there are multitude of factors that actually convinced me to do certain different things because as a child we don't think intensely and we don't consider the factors that might help us in the future. Like reading, I picked up unknowingly, but I didn't know that it would actually help me in the future, but it did. Like similarly, just playing
Okay.
video games is something that did not help me. So I think I've gotten rid of all those activities that do not help me anymore, and I'm engaging myself more into the things that actually make me skillful.
Okay, that's really good. So, do you think it's important to have hobbies that involve physical activity and why?
I think I cannot emphasize that enough because since my childhood, as I earlier mentioned, that I have taken part in extracurricular activities because our school also emphasized physical activity as much as they did emphasize on studies. So I think both of the things are equally important to keep a body healthy because it's been seen that obesity is getting a problem among children, and that's something that we need to tackle in a way that we promote physical well-being.
Okay. So, are there any hobbies you would like to try in future?
Well, I think, well, I haven't thought about it much to be totally upfront, but an activity that I would take up is some kind of martial arts because I feel like I am a sports person, as I earlier said. So I think I've always been excited and mesmerized by how people become a stronger version of themselves physically. So I think picking any kind of karate or judo is something that I would actually do.
Okay, got you. So, let's move on to the next topic. We'll talk about technology. So, how has technology changed the way people spend their time, free time?
I think technology has a huge part to play in our day-to-day lives because the development that has taken place over a decade is immense, and it's actually taking a toll of so many people because um, social media apps like Instagram, Facebook unknowingly take so much of our day that we do not even realize. I was in a phase in my life when I did not think about how much time I was spending on mobile phone. And then I actually realized later on when my mother made me realize that it's something that I'm wasting time on. So I think one thing that has changed from the past is that leisure activities and leisure things that we can do on the internet have increased a lot. So I think that is putting a negative impact. So I averse it.
Okay. So do you think children should be limited in their use of technology? Why and why not?
Yes, definitely, because I think that it has more consequences and deleterious repercussions than it has positive points, because it has generally been seen that people, especially children, get addicted to mobile phones and certain video games because they produce a kind of hormone in their mind that actually promotes this, and they cannot control themselves. So I think that is like controlling a person's mind, which is not good. So I would definitely say that children should be restricted from watching television or mobile phones or even video games for that matter.
Okay. So what technological device do you use the most and why?
As I earlier said, that I actually used to watch a lot of phone, different kind of reels, because it kind of comforted me. So I think mobile phones is actually something that I have been using the most in the past.
Okay. So how has technology affected your work or studies?
Well, I think in that aspect, it has a positive impact because I don't have to carry so much load in my bag when I had to actually do different things, assignments or work, because it has become more convenient. It's just a tablet kind of thing that I have, and I can take it wherever I want, and I can actually get my work done more efficiently, and it provides additional help. And it actually blusters so much. So I feel like it has definitely positively impacted my life, and my life has become so much easier with these advancements.
Okay. So do you think older people are less interested in new technologies? Why or why not?
Well, I think the most common answer to this would be that they actually have an aversion for it, but I think completely against it, because I have seen my grandparents, both maternal and paternal, watching phones throughout the day. They actually watch so many reels, and I don't know what certain recipes my grandmother keeps watching. I do not understand it, but I actually found out that it's something that's equally imperative for their life, because earlier they used to go outside at religious places, be there, have a friend group of their own over there, or be in the parks. But I think now they prefer to live in the comfort of their home and watch reels and feel comforted.
Okay. So do you have your cue card there? You have a cue card?
Yes, ma'am, I
Yeah.
do.
Okay. So we'll go to this part two to describe a difficult decision you had to make. Okay. So what the decision was, when you made the decision, what are the consequences of the decisions that you made, and explain why it was difficult to make. So you have 1 minute to prepare your speech. Okay. So your time starts now. So you can just prepare and let me know once you're done.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think I'm done.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. If my memory serves me right, approximately 2 years ago, I had an option to choose my stream for grade 11th and 12th. It was an important and imperative decision because that was something my entire future was based on. I had an option of choosing sciences or commerce as my field, or even humanities for that matter. But I had already eliminated humanities because the career paths did not align with my interests. And later I found out that not only does it affect my future, it also affects my happiness. I found out that I need to be very conscious about this decision in my life because it will impact my overall well-being and contentment. Having said that, I took and like a deep discussion with my family, and I actually took their opinion into consideration. And I found out that one thing that makes me ecstatic beyond repair is definitely the field of commerce because it excites me in a matter that there's a big firm, how it works. And the stock market is something that actually incites me a lot because we can make a lot of money for once. And at the same time, even though it has risks and ramifications, but that might not go well. But I think when risks are taken calculatedly, it can end up in as positive as I can't even imagine. So it was a difficult decision, but then eventually I went ahead with taking commerce. Now I've completed my senior secondary education and I cannot feel happier. I feel that contentment in me, and I feel like it was actually a good decision. And more than that, there were the career opportunities for me because I've seen that the medical and non-medical field is actually getting cluttered because there are not much job opportunities and more people are going for it. So in that aspect also, I felt like it was more beneficial for me if I opted commerce. So I think as merely a 16-year-old, I had to make this huge decision that would impact my entire life. How much I earn, what I feel like in the future, and many other aspects that we don't consider as children. But I had my family to support me through thick and thin, and I couldn't have felt better about it. I think that's the main reason it was more difficult. Speaking of which, I feel like difficulty is something that is also a state of mind because we contemplate so many things, and we consider, we are intrigued by different outcomes that we might have about it. But I think when we sit quiet with ourselves, we actually understand how important it is to actually look from within and make a right decision that we don't actually regret in the future. So I think that's something that I wanted to talk about because it has actually impacted my life positively because of the decision that I took, even though I consider it as one of the most difficult decisions that I've taken by myself for me.
That's really good to know. So we'll move to the third part. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have few questions for you. So what are some common decisions that people make every day?
I think one of the most common decisions that people tend to make on a daily basis is what their to-do list is going to look like, how they plan their day, and at the same time what they're going to cook as a meal. Because I find my mother contemplating every day of what do you want to eat, what should I cook for you? Because we as Punjabis are considered as the most as the people who like food the most. So it's one of the things that we perpetually keep talking about, and it also comforts us at the same time. So I think these contemplations are something that I would say we consider on a daily basis.
So do you think decision making is a skill that can be developed, and how?
Well, I think that we can certainly say it's a skill because we get it from experience, and skills are definitely something that we can enhance after we have a lot of experience. So I think decisions are meant to go right and wrong. But what matters is that what we learned from it. If a person is actually repeating their mistakes mindlessly and they're not conscious about what they are thinking, And then I think that's a problem. But until unless everyone's making like innocent mistake that we can overcome and does not have a huge repercussion, I think it's good to learn eventually once we grow up and become better at decision making.
So, how do you think decision making can differ between younger and older people?
Well, I think the intensity of decision making might stay the same because at different stages of our life, we have different decisions that impact us in a certain way. As I mentioned about my story, I was merely 16 years old and I had a decision, and I took it the way I wanted it to take. But the thing is that if we talk to a person who is much older, for them, this decision must be a piece of cake because they've reached a stage in their life that they've understood so many things. As I said, that all of the qualities that a person has while making decisions can only come after experience. So they have enough experience to contemplate, to understand the profound meaning of certain things. So it's easier for them to make decisions than a person who is merely starting their life out.
Yes. So, can you give me some examples of bad decisions people make and their consequences?
Well, I haven't really thought about it, but to be totally upfront, I feel like choosing the wrong career is one of the biggest mistakes that people make just in the pursuit of earning more money and becoming more financially sound. Because eventually, what matters is that how much contentment you have rather than the money, that the monetary value that you that a person's making. So I think this decision impacts our life in a way that actually ruins our day-to-day peace and tranquility that we would have if we had chosen a career that actually aligns with our interests, our likings, and who we are as people. Because I've seen so many people opting for the career of a lawyer, but they don't really like arguing, or they don't really like engaging into things that might not be as ethically correct. Because as we know, it's stereotypical that careers like these have their own ups and downs. So I think choosing your career with the right mindset and skill set and the way you think is very important. So these three things should align.
Okay. So, how important it is to consider the long-term consequences when making a decision?
As I earlier said, that it is imperative to consider these decisions because when we take the decision in the heck of the moment, we do not realize the overall impact that it will have on us or the consequences that we might face because we are too engrossed in the moment thinking about so many other things that we have to consider at the same time. So I think sitting tight at the moment and just thinking about it like from the whole perspective is imperative. So I think one of the things that will help in making that decision is meditating because it clears our mind out and we can actually think through things clearly.
So let's move on to the next topic. So we'll talk about technology and society. So how has technology affected the types of jobs people do?
As so many people say that so many careers that exist today might not exist tomorrow. And I think it's a real threat on people who have certain careers that might not be a career in the future. As it is said that AI, technology, artificial intelligence are both a threat as well as a thing that can actually positively impact our life. So careers like journalism and careers like coding and programming are something that AI is more efficient to do because we as humans make so many errors. We can actually not consider certain things away because, like earlier, people used to calculate things themselves. Now we have a calculator like in our phone, which is available to us 24/7. So it's more convenient for a person to actually pick it up and type something or whatever calculation you want to make, rather than sitting, thinking, or consulting a person who actually knows math. So I think careers like journalism will be replaced by AI models because it's something that's taking the wind nowadays. So I think these are the careers that are certainly under threat.
So what do you think this artificial intelligence will have on society? What impact will it have in the society in the next 20 years?
I think it will cause unemployment in so many sectors and to so many peoples. It will take up their jobs. As I earlier said, as a society, we need to work towards a thing. Like if we want development in one particular field or we want innovation in one particular field, we have to work towards it as a society. But if a few people who will lose their jobs because of AI, there is no chance that development can take place in this aspect because there will be so many people to oppose the existence of AI in the first place. Since the kind of repercussions that they particularly will be facing. So I think as a society, we will have a wrong example or wrong ramifications because it will take away people's job, and I think losing a person's job is never a good thing.
Okay. So do you think technology is making people more isolated? Why or why not?
Yes, isolation is a big problem in this generation because people tend to spend time with themselves rather than people, because most of the people these days have become introverts because of the fact that they do not realize the importance of people around them, because they think that if I have to pass my time, if I have to actually do something in terms of leisure, they can go up their phone, they can watch movies, videos, they can spend their time the way they want. So they don't think that a physical person is needed in order to actually entertain or do something or an activity together. So I think that's a way in which this is going to take a turn.
Okay. So how has social media changed the way we communicate with each other?
I think earlier, since technological development was not as prominent, and neither did we have any instruments or things that we could communicate with, people used to send messages more, but and call as well. But I think now people do not do either of that. They just send a message through Instagram, or they will pass a comment on their posts. The personal interaction between people has reduced a lot. That limitation will always stay because the emotional connect and the communication barrier is something which is more it's reducing these days, and I think we need to mitigate that in order to sustain beautiful bonds between people.
Okay, so one last question for you, Prableen. So what are some ways technology can be used to improve education?
In terms of education, I strongly believe that it will have a lot of positive impacts because people earlier used to engage into activities that were nothing but a waste of time. But now people can focus on the important part, and the part that is not as important can be done online. Like people used to use physical dictionaries. It used to take up a lot of time in order to search a word in the dictionary using the alphabet they want it from, and sometimes the word is not even there in that dictionary. So I think now people can just go on their phones, click on Google and search whatever they want, and they will have the meaning immediately. So I think that has helped a lot in understanding in general. So I think it has definitely positively impact. You know, as I earlier said, there are always two sides of a coin. It has negative impacts as well, but I think this is an important thing that I would like to mention, that it does positively impact as well.
Okay. Well, we have really done with this, and you have really done well today, Prableen. And I can only say that you were up to the point and you know what you're talking. So all the best for your future. So do the
Thank
same
you.
way. Yeah. Thank you so much and have a wonderful career ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.